Good evening. This is the Milford Planning Board in session. Today is December 9th, and we are being televised. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion on the minutes from the previous meeting.
Made motion by Pat, seconded by John. All in favor? Unanimous of 3. I don't see 81Ps. We have none.
Nope.
Amended site plan, 296 West Street, Rattlesnake Hill, LLC.
Thank you.
Just read what
Robert Poxon, Gary Aaron Howland Engineering. The applicant is Rattlesnake Hill LLC. It's also the,
Could you give me a minute so we could read?
She just wants
Oh,
to
okay,
read.
read the letters?
I just want to read the letter. Larry usually does that for me.
That's fine.
Oh,
He's doing
did you want me to-
notes.
I
He's
can
doing
read that.
notes.
I can read it if you want.
Oh, no, I got it, thanks. The applicant requests a site plan approval to install a roof-mounted large-scale solar energy system on the existing building at the subject property. The large-scale solar energy systems are now permitted use in the IB district via site plan review, and further subject to the requirements of section 3.15 of the zoning bylaw. The proposed installation will be entirely on the roof, with any other ancillary equipment to be located either inside the building or adjacent to the existing transformer. No other outdoor changes are being proposed on the property. I have attached the section 3.15 for reference purposes. The proposal appears to meet all the applicant's provisions of the zoning lot bylaw. The abandonment, decommissioning, and surety provisions of section 3.15 are primary intended for ground-mounted installations and do not appear to be necessary for this type of roof-mounted installation. Therefore, I recommend site plan to be approved as submitted, subject to the relevant agency comments. And they are, everyone else approved.
Yep.
Krista Fooley approves it. Tui approves it.
Town engineer. Yep.
And John Erickson, Water Company, and we're all set. Okay, okay, Bob.
all right, so this property is the location where Main Drilling and Blasting has their business. Formerly was Atlantic Blasting. So there's existing buildings, there are 2 large existing buildings, and the proposal is just to put roof-mounted solar panels on the 2 buildings. That's basically it.
Were the transformers going to be placed on the building or?
On the roof.
No, you have to come down and from the, you need a,
It says here, main panel is gonna be inside the wall opposite the utility meter.
okay.
So the main panel's gonna be inside
As
the
long as there's
building.
nothing occupying any parking or so on
No,
and so forth.
no, nothing
Which
was,
again,
there'd be no alteration of any parking spaces or any
Okay.
change in impervious or landscaping areas.
Well, I don't have a problem with that at all. How about you, John?
Nope.
I'll
No.
make a motion to amend the site plan.
Second.
Motion made by Pat, second by John to amend the site plan. All in favor?
Aye.
3 in favor.
Larry, just for-
Unanimous.
Just for
me.
some, Larry, just for some future consideration, we perhaps may want to take a look at solar systems as they apply to roof mounting, because to date, the bylaw is suggestive of those that are ground mounted, and most of them have been roof mounted, so
Right.
I think there's a way to streamline the process for the applicants. So it's something we may want to consider in the future as a zoning change.
Yeah. Probably take a look at it before next year. All set, Bob?
Site plan.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Site plan waiver, 27 Sumner Street, Planet Aid Inc. All right. Here are the letters from the people. The applicant requests site plan waiver to convert 5,916 square feet of interior floor area into a gym within the existing building on the subject property. No additions are being proposed to the building to accommodate the gym floor area. With the proposed gym area, the total required off-street parking will be 143 spaces, 145 spaces will be provided. Changes are also being proposed to bring the handicap parking and access into compliance with the current standards. The proposal appears to meet all applicant provisions of the zoning bylaw. Therefore, I recommend the requirements of a full site plan review be waived, subject to the relevant agency comments, as Larry Duncan's paper.
Thank you.
Milford Fire Department has reviewed the site plan and finds it okay. Krista Fooley also finds it satisfactory.
Ahead of myself.
John Erickson finds it satisfactory. The Milford Water Company,
Just need one.
and that's about it. Okay, Bob.
Try it again.
Erickson. Says it does not fully comply. You just may want to read that again, Chris.
I just want to read something that I missed for 1 second, Bob.
Yeah, go ahead.
Huh? If I can find it.
John Erickson?
Yeah.
He's referencing the handicap.
What
Yeah,
page
Lynn.
is that? Can I take a look at that?
You can have that one. And then I'll take it
It's right
back.
behind highway.
Dear Larry,
department.
I have reviewed the Plan G 9625 with regard to the site plan waiver for the proposed Planet A reservation, renovation, where they propose to install a fitness area with the existing space. It is my understanding that that proposed space is to be used for employees for Planet Aid, and as such is considered a private building. Private buildings are not subject to the 521 CMR Architectural Assess Board regulations. However, if the fitness center were to be open to the public, which I discussed with Planet Aid representative, that portion of the building site would be subject to a handicap regulation. Additionally, it appears that a portion of the facility that is occupied by Maine Oxy is considered public and does not fully comply with the 521 CMR 20, as there does not appear to be compliant accessible route for the handicap spaces and the retail spaces. I would recommend that they modify the existing conditions to become compliant. Do you have all that, Bob?
I do have all
Did you
that,
talk
yes.
with them?
Yep, no, well, actually, I did get I got those letters this afternoon, and I'm prepared to discuss that with you. But-
Okay.
So this is the Planet Aid building on Sumner Street. Obviously, the last time we came through, we went through site plan waiver for Maine Oxy when they wanted to occupy this portion of the building. We then went through another site plan when Planet Aid purchased the property, and we're gonna occupy the remaining part of the building. We had to make sure they had proper loading. So now Planet Aid is looking to separate an area inside for a proposed gym with locker rooms. Then there's also an area here which is gonna be a proposed common area. There's an existing entrance door right in here with this walkway that's here. So the entrance for this area would be through here into this common area, either into the gym and back into the Planet Aid offices in this area in here. Like I said, the only negative comment that was received was by the Handicap Access Board regarding something that was proposed for Maine Oxy. When Maine Oxy was originally proposed, this was going to be their main entrance for handicap. And we had a handicap accessibility here for this area here. Well, it turns out that when they created their business, this particular access did not get people into the sales area. It got them more into this was more of the warehouse storage area. So if you look at the Google Earth image that I gave you, they did respond to that comment, and you can see in this area here, what they did was right at the end of the retaining wall for the loading dock, they broke the curbing, they did some striping, and they created a ramp into the doorway right here, which is now the current doorway into the main Oxy sales area. So they have done that. They have created a compliant, handicap accessible entrance in this location here. We have taken that particular entrance that's there, and that's where we've added the 2 spaces. We've actually spaced.
Bob, can you just, I'm sorry, because can you
You got
just
it
show me?
upside down. You got the aerial photo upside
Right
down.
here.
Upside down.
I know, I
Well,
don't know
went with
whether
the way
it's
he
upside
did his,
down.
That's why I was trying
You
to.
got it upside down
Okay,
compared to
well,
the
it's-
site plan, so
This
it's
is,
a little
this is
misleading.
the building.
Yep.
This is the entrance here that they have made handicap compliant. It was supposed to be here,
Okay,
but that particular entrance does not enter into the sales area. It enters into the warehouse and distribution area. So they were told they needed to have some sort of a handicap accessible entrance.
okay.
So they created it here.
And where's the handicap parking?
There's handicap parking here and here, but if you look, this is what we've added. We've
Okay,
added
so you
two-
switched
We've added
I
2
see
spaces.
2.
No, we've left these 2, because
Then
they were
you
already
added
there.
2?
We were
Yeah.
adding 2 right here.
Okay.
Right by
That's how
the
we get
door?
up to the
Is that the
155.
door entrance?
Yep.
It would have been easy if you just explained it on this map. than-
Yeah, no, but I
Yeah.
printed it out at the very end, because when I got the letters this afternoon, and I was
Right.
kind of scrambling to answer that question. So that's pretty much it.
What about the gym? Is that public
The
access?
gym
or
right now
private access?
is, I was told, is gonna be, currently it's gonna be for the people who, you know, but it could
The
very well become
configuration does
public.
not appear that it's gonna be private. Well,
Private. No, because of the common area.
The
correct.
common area doesn't
Yeah.
lend itself to
But
the
it does-
premise that it's gonna not be
Right.
public, and,
But we do comply with this handicap access here, and this ramp here is in compliance with the slope, that it does comply, even if it was public, even if it is public, so.
Is this for the people that work there? Is that what
I
it's gonna be
believe
for?
that,
Is
currently they're hoping that they're gonna start out for the people who work there, but
Okay.
obviously if it doesn't get enough use, and if somebody's interested in renting it or.
that renting it out?
Then they would do that,
Well,
that's what I was told.
So it won't matter.
seems
Right.
far-fetched, but okay.
Yeah, I agree.
it does,
But if this change will make it
Well,
compliant
clearly, if
either
they change
way.
it, you're gonna be back again, which is
Exactly.
going to
But
be,
it is compliant by adding those 2 handicap spaces.
It is compliant
and-
because
and
of what you
making
just
sure
did,
that-
yes.
So,
it is. There aren't any shower rooms or anything?
yeah,
in
there's
there?
locker
locker
rooms.
rooms.
I see
Yeah, there's
locker
proposed
rooms
locker
there,
rooms, yep,
and
lockers and
showers.
showers, yep. And, you know,
Um,
sanitary facilities,
Mhm.
lockers, yeah.
Well, what's the pleasure of the board?
I recommend that we waive the necessity for,
Excuse me, Bob, I'm sorry. You waive the,
yeah,
Site plan waiver.
Site
Yeah.
plan waiver,
site
yeah.
plan.
Yeah, well, provided that since they put the handicap in, yes.
yeah, they
I'll
already
second
got,
that.
you second that? Motion made by John, second by Pat, to waive the site plan, and that'll be 3, unanimous of 3.
Thank you.
You get this one too?
That was it.
Move right along, Lena, just move.
Oh, this is it. There's 2 of them?
No, we're on number 5.
Oh, I got yours.
You got mine, yes.
I'm saying to myself, if I got, so, okay. You got this one, Bob?
Which one is that?
Not reading.
89 Main.
Okay.
No,
Nope,
I don't
not
think
mine.
so.
Hi, not yours?
Not mine.
Okay. All right, so, number 5, site plan review, 89 Main Street, Michael Montecalvo. Sorry if I chopped that name up.
Do you want me to
Dear
read it?
Mr. Chairman, the applicant requests site plan waiver to expand the existing restaurant to include 1,500 square feet of the first floor within the existing building on the subject property. No additions are being proposed to the building to accommodate the restaurant expansion. As the property is in the CA Central Commercial Zoning District, the proposal appears to meet all the applicant's provisions of the zoning bylaw. Therefore, I recommend that the requirements for full plan site review be waived, subject to the relevant agent's comments. Larry Dunklin.
All
Fire Department has reviewed the site plan waiver submitted on 89 Main Street and requests no changes.
Yeah.
The Highway Department has reviewed the mention above, and he has no comment at this time. John Erickson, I have no concerns on this site-way. John Erickson's, the Milford Water Company. Reviewing the 89 submitted, seeing a conflict, no, no problem. And that's it. Someone here for that?
No, it's just a change of use in the first floor. They're expanding the restaurant. As-
Didn't, not too long ago, when I say not too long ago, maybe the last 3-4 years ago, wasn't there supposed to be like a little bakery or something going in this location?
They did,
That
re-
we,
they-
that we,
yeah, they did a recording studio, then
That's what it-
then they
okay.
did a barber shop.
Right.
And so
Okay.
that's all going away.
So that, and, okay.
89 Main Centrale will be occupying the basement and the first floor.
so perhaps the bar will go upstairs or what have you.
They're gonna have like a banquet upstairs or something,
I
yeah,
don't know.
all right.
I'll make a motion to waive the site plan.
I'll second.
Motion made by Pat, seconded by John. All in favor? And unanimous of 3.
The food is good.
It is. The food is excellent. Good luck to him.
Do we have a
He's
bond
he's good
reduction?
guy.
I think we should increase it.
Dennis, you're up.
All right. Bond reduction, Woodland Meadow subdivision, Woodland Court.
We have an increase to the bond.
Okay. Dear Chairman, the applicant of Woodland Meadows have petitioned for a reduction of the bond for the project. The current bond amount is $42,555. The roadway base and base course have been installed, as well as the water, sewer, and drainage. Other items completed included sidewalks, granite curb and pavement top course, gravel access roads and detention basins, signs, concrete property, and survey bounds. And shade trees, preparation for an as-built plan, and a few minor items remain. I recommend the reduction in the bond to $10,000 at that time. Signed, Town Engineer Bonnie Reese.
So you want to reduce the bond by 10,000?
210,000.
This-
Is it 210 or by 10?
10 and 10, you want to split now? I'm trying to figure out what you need.
I want to pay the paver.
All right. I'll make a motion to reduce the amount
I'll second.
of held down to 10,000,
Yes.
therefore releasing $32,055.
Okay. Motion made by Pat, seconded by
Actually, we
John.
should
All
probably
in
keep,
favor?
the 55.
Unanimous of 3.
There you go.
You're welcome. Next,
Madam Chairman, just
Yes.
for the record, I'd like to disclose that the ZBA variance for number 7, Scott Lanzetta,
yes,
I have a previous business relationship with him and Lanzetta Excavating.
okay. So,
With that said, I will be
will you be able to?
implementing the rule of necessity since there's only 3 of us.
Okay, thank you.
They wrote that for you.
All right, dear Mr. Chairman, the applicant requests, this is a ZBA variance for Scott Lanzetta on Pine Island Road, map 10, lot 8, RC zone. The applicant requests a variance to permit a construction of a 28.32 detached garage on the subject property. The subject property is a 4,067 square foot non-conforming parcel located west of Pine Island Road and north of North Pond Terrace. The subject lot 8 abuts lot 7, on which the applicant's principal single-family dwelling is located, separated by a 10-foot wide right-of-way. Lot 8, as an individual parcel, is non-conforming in all aspects. The proposed garage would also require variances from the yard requirements. I therefore recommend a favorable report to forward it to the Zoning Board of Appeals only if the board determines the legitimate hardship exists. All right. Okay, Ernie?
I'm Ernie Pettinari. I've got a law office here in Milford at 12 Main Street, and I'm here for Mr. Lanzetta tonight. The description that Larry gave in his recommendation is exactly on point. This is a lot that Scott purchased recently from the town of Milford. It had been in tax title for a number of years. These lots in their configurations originally were all non-conforming to the current zoning. This particular lot consisted of about 4,100 square feet of land. Scott had purchased this lot earlier, this lot, and now this one. This lot was the largest of all of them. At the time he purchased this lot, he got a variance so that he could construct a residence here. He has since bought this property and this property, and he's rehabilitated the the structures that were on the lots up there. This lot, he's been watching for a long time, and when the town agreed to put it out for auction, he bid on it because it feeds directly into his need to create a garage on the site. He's got a substantial investment in this property. I don't know if you've had the chance to ride up there, but compared to what used to be there, what Scott has done up there is really remarkable. He's invested a great deal of effort and money to make this a real showplace. In terms of Larry's analysis relative to hardship, our argument has been consistently when we've been dealing with these lots previously, that in their present configuration, because they're all non-conforming, that creates a hardship in and of itself. Ideally, what we're hopeful to do is if the zoning board grants this variance at some point in the very near future, we're gonna consolidate these, subject to the rights of way and the others in the middle of the properties, and consolidate those two. So ultimately, we're gonna be moving toward conformity rather than away from it.
That would be a good thing.
He needs a variance to get this done, and again, frankly, that's what I would say. I think it's a real good thing, and
Right.
we hope you agree.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board? John?
I recommend favorable report to the zoning.
Okay, we have to have 3 votes here.
Your turn, Lena.
I recommend in favor of the
You need to
zoning board.
just second that.
I just second that.
Now call it to a vote.
Call it to a vote, okay. Who's in favor? How many in favor? 1, 2,
Thank you.
I'm going with the pleasure of the board, that's I already,
Thank you.
3 in favor.
I just need your chocolate.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Last but not least,
I know it.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes,
again on number 8, I would like to divulge that I have a business relationship with ELC, who is developing the Blair House. With
Okay.
that said, I'm going to also be invoking the rule of necessity on voting on this.
okay, thank you.
you're a busy guy, Patrick.
I know.
You are.
A lot of friends.
Okay. ZBA variance, 1 Railroad Street Holdings LLC, Blair House. Dear Mr. Chairman, the applicant requests a variance to permit the construction of a parking lot within the 15-foot landscape buffer and the installation of an 8-foot-high fence on the subject property. These improvements are accelerating to the 42 units, 50 beds assisted living facility being completed in the premises. The 15-foot landscape buffer is located adjacent to Railroad Street. The short dead-end street is not a thoroughfare, and the lack of the full landscape buffer will have no noticeable effect on the motoring public. The 8-foot-high fence being proposed is for security purposes for the assisted living facility and have no detrimental effect of abutting properties. I therefore recommend a favorable report to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Larry Duncan. All right.
Didn't we change the name of one of those to Cena Hella Way or something?
There is one, yeah.
Yeah, Cemetery Street.
Cemetery, I believe.
Cemetery of Cena Hella?
That was off of Claflin. Off of Claflin up the hill.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't know.
past his property.
John?
Madam Chairwoman, thank you. John Fernandez for the record, 12 Main Street, Milford, Mass. Attorney for the petitioner with Mr. Parkson, Gary and Hellman, and Mr. Romano of the Railroad Holdings LLC. This is part of a predicate to bringing before this board a petition which is pending to amend the special permit on this site. And it's really all engineering related on the site. It doesn't have to do with the use itself. It's not about changing the number of beds or the number of rooms that would be involved or any of the structure. There's been sort of this uncertainty about whether Railroad Street was even a public way.
Right.
But there is, and there was thought that it had been abandoned at some point in time, but there is no record of abandonment, so it remains a public way, even though it's quite short and only services this site and backs up to the J-Course site, which of course is a well-paved piece of
Right.
property. So in order to facilitate the traffic on the site, the flow of traffic, and tuck parking in behind the entranceway off a railroad, the decision was made to seek permission to bring that parking right up to the boundary line of the property with the road. And then the request for the fence at 8 feet is somewhat related. Even though it's in that South Bow Street area where it meets Central Street, and you'd think it's a pretty well-attended location, it's actually somewhat isolated.
Mhm.
And at night, they've had people coming over the boundary lines and
Mhm.
actually stealing stuff off of the property.
Mhm.
And looking to the future and the security of the residents at the site and just the protection of it, they are looking to do an 8-foot site around it. It really, there are very few neighbors. They, of course, the Blair House is across the street, which is also owned by the Romano
Right.
family at Cena Holloway Cemetery Street. And to the backside, there's very little there other than some commercial, which is pushed way out.
Mhm.
So it's the kind of thing where I think it would actually enhance the security at the site. And Bob can explain more about how that will work on the site.
Thank you. All right, so this is the area where we're talking about having the parking. I have some reduced copies of the plan that was resubmitted back in 2005 as an amended site plan that was signed, and it had the parking in this location. Unfortunately, that special permit lapsed, and when we came back in 2012, now there was a requirement to have a 15-foot landscape
Right.
buffer strip. So we kind of took it off, but then, through the process of building and seeing how everything was laying out, they would like to be able to put this parking back in over here, specifically because even back then, Railroad Street had this much pavement in it, and really, the only thing that it was used for at the time was for access to the Cohen the large oil tanks that were back in here. Those have since been abandoned, emptied out, and frankly, it's probably, in the future, you're gonna probably see the Blair House owning this abutting property here.
Really?
So there's really no need to get to this land anymore. And there are easements that are in place through Blair House property in this little corner here that remain intact, so there's nothing here. This pavement at the time, this is still coming back from the 2006 plan. It's not even there anymore. The pavement doesn't even exist anymore. It's been so beat up. And I think basically the area is used more for the plows coming down South Bow so they can push straight in, and they just, because if you notice in the winter, there's always a large amount of snow that's piled up in here.
Right.
And so it's always blocked off. You couldn't go through anyways, and it's a very short stub. So we're seeking a waiver to allow to waive the 15-foot landscape buffer strip along a public way from the parking area in this location here. As far as the fence is concerned, the allowable height of a fence is 6 feet.
Right.
You can put a 6-foot chain link fence for security, and then you could wrap razor wire or barbed wire on
Right.
top of it.
Right.
They don't want to see that type of thing, and they know that 8 feet is what they need. And they're looking at these nice anodized aluminum,
I was gonna ask you what kind of.
I actually have a picture, you can see. This is the type of fencing that they're proposing to put in, similar to this.
Oh, okay.
There's some page there. So
Those are nice.
So they want to put in a high-quality type fence. It's gonna look nice. It's gonna have a gate, they'll be gated in certain areas. And
Okay.
so rather than have chain link with razor wire or barbed wire above it, they'd like to get the extra 2 feet just so they can put in something nice like that.
Mhm.
And that's the request for the waiver of the fence. So basically, that's what we're here for, to get that recommendation. As John said, we will be coming back before the board for some changes to the site plan that were kind of caused by site conditions once they got into building something, but nothing really, for the special permit, nothing has to do with the building or the use or anything like that. It's kind of like parking, And, you know, and the site always had more parking than it needed. We, you know, we eliminated a few spaces
Excuse me,
because
Bob,
we.
Yeah.
let's just,
We don't wanna talk about it.
just stick with what you're here for,
Yeah,
don't
right,
we?
that's good.
That's all
yeah.
we're looking
Because
for
the
is a
public
recommendation.
hearing
That's
hasn't
good, that's
been
great.
Appreciate the information, but
Yeah.
you're not helping.
So the fence is gonna completely block it, it's not gonna have any use whatsoever, the fence, right?
No, it's
The
just
what?
that, because in the town of Milford, you're only allowed 6 by
feet.
right.
Right.
So it's
They
just
wanna
gonna
go
be-
8.
They wanna go
I
8
don't have
feet.
a problem with that, no.
Okay.
No. Okay, thank you, Bob. What's the pleasure of the board?
Favorable report to zoning.
John, favorable report to the zoning, I'll second that. What's the pleasure of the board?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Yes.
3 in favor, all in favor?
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
I just need your top letter, please.
Have a nice night, John.
Thanks.
What do you need here?
Your top letter for that letter.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second by John. Good night, everyone, and Merry Christmas.